The USS Gerald R. Ford CVN-78, the most expensive and frequently troublesome next-generation aircraft carrier, took 14 years to build and is now ready for deployment. In late 2021, the U.S. Navy approved the purchase of the $13.3 billion aircraft carrier. So what services does the aircraft carrier provide, and why is it worth billions of dollars? So let's start the video without any further delay. The aircraft carrier's initial deployment date has been set for 2017, 8 years after construction began in 2009, which is 8 years longer than the typical aircraft carrier construction time of 5 years. However, development challenges and a series of delays caused by reliability issues with numerous new technologies resulted in an additional 5 years of construction time. The USS Gerald R. Ford's takeoff. Gerald R. Ford was floated from the dry dock into Virginia's James River to begin trials in November 2013. The USS John F. Kennedy is the second carrier in the Navy's new Ford class. It is currently being constructed in Virginia at Newport News Shipbuilding and will enter service in 2020. The Navy's top priority is ensuring the readiness of the USS Gerald R. Ford, and the team's work during the post-shakedown availability met standards, while the following 8 months of CVN-78's post-delivery test and trials period went remarkably well. Despite the global pandemic, the team has worked quickly, and we will maintain this pace for the benefit of our Navy and country until the USS Gerald R. Ford has completed her post-delivery duties and is completely available and prepared for tasking by the fleet, NAVSEA spokesman Rory O'Connor told USNI News in July 2020. Unfortunately, many of the new devices had significant technical problems. The most persistent issue was the Advanced Weapon Elevator, which moved aircraft bombs and missiles from the ship's hold to the flight deck and were not fully resolved until last year. According to Defense One, the Ford program manager stated that the ship's initial operational capability was required for the AWE solution. Initial operations capability refers to new weapon systems that have been cleared for specific combat tasks. The weapon system may not be rated to perform all of its combat tasks, but it is capable of performing enough of them to be considered combat ready. So what, if anything, keeps Ford from being fully operationally capable? The deployment will take place in the midst of growing U.S.-Russian hostility and maritime rivalry. Recently, the Nordic gas pipelines, which connect Russia to the Atlantic Ocean via the Baltic Sea, were sabotaged. The U.S. Navy reactivated the Second Fleet just 4 years ago to address new issues in the Atlantic. Then, Vice Admiral Daniel Dwyer, commander of the U.S. Second Fleet, stated, "The Atlantic, particularly for U.S. Second Fleet headquarters, is a strategic area of importance, not only for the United States and our allies and partners to strengthen the transatlantic link between North America and Europe, but also for homeland defense." According to Dwyer, Ford will go through 8 rounds of training before returning to a more normal deployment in 2023. Air defense, maritime domain awareness, long-range maritime strikes, distributed maritime operations, anti-submarine warfare, and naval integration exercises will take place during these times. All 8 squadrons of Carrier Air Wing 8 are made up of F-18 Super Hornets, E-2D Advanced Hawkeyes, and EA-18G Growlers, as well as the MH-60 Sierra and MH-60 Seahawk helicopters, which will arrive on board the Ford aircraft carrier. Background on aircraft carriers. The aircraft carrier, with its enlisted Carrier Air Wing, is the critical asset for maintaining maritime dominance throughout the world's waterways. History has repeatedly demonstrated the significant advantages of deploying decisive air power from the sea. When paired with the ships in an accompanying carrier strike group, the aircraft carrier can perform tasks ranging from large-scale combat operations to deterrence to humanitarian relief. Aircraft carriers are naturally adaptable and flexible. They can produce a significant number of aircraft sorties due to their size and weight, allowing them to deliver payloads for a variety of desired outcomes in support of national military objectives. Built on both the United States investments and the heritage of the current Nimitz-class aircraft carriers, the Ford-class carrier will be the Navy's most technologically advanced ship built since World War II, ensuring that the Navy will remain a ready and resilient force in the future. Welcome to Gerald R. Ford class. For more than 40 years, Nimitz-class carriers have been the first responders to crises and conflicts. The delivery of CVN-77 in 2009 further demonstrated the viability of the early 1960s design of the Nimitz-class carriers. These vessels have served the country well and will continue to do so for many years to come. Nimitz-class ships will be gradually replaced by Ford-class vessels after Gerald R. Ford CVN-78 is serviced. Ford-class ships undoubtedly provide greater survivability, lethality, joint interoperability, unparalleled compatibility, and versatility with continuous joint force transformation, albeit at a lower taxpayer operating and maintenance cost. At the same time, the aircraft carrier's primary mission will not be impacted. The F-35C Lightning II, the FA-18EF Super Hornet, the E-2D Advanced Hawkeye, the EA-18G Growler electronic attack aircraft, the MH-60RS helicopters, and unmanned aerial vehicles are just a few of the cutting-edge aircraft that Ford will be able to transport for the Navy. Ford will also be able to recover and launch a variety of U.S. Marine Corps short takeoff and vertical landing aircraft, increasing its adaptability. The ship's design margins will also allow for the incorporation of future manned and unmanned aircraft with minimal ship modifications. Ships of the Gerald R. Ford class. Facts. The Ford class includes technological advancements that increase the carrier's capability and efficiency while also allowing it to implement upcoming technological advancements relatively easily. The CVN-78 and future Ford class carriers combine increased warfighting capability and survivability in a platform that, thanks to increased capacity, will be able to keep up with the threat throughout the 21st century. It reduced total cost of ownership, for example, through manpower innovations and reductions such as increased nuclear power plant electrical production, improved corrosion control, the use of fiber optic networks, and the use of the latest lightweight materials. The island on CVN-78 in particular is smaller and farther aft than the islands on previous carriers, allowing for more space for flight deck operations and aircraft maintenance, allowing the ship and air wing to launch more sorties of aircraft each day. Longer intersections between maintenance windows allow for more steaming days over the course of the ship's life. Furthermore, advancements in hull design, firefighting systems, and armament storage all contribute to the ship's improved survival. The U.S. Navy announced on September 9 that the aircraft carrier USS Gerald R. Ford will depart Norfolk, Virginia on 3 October for its first formal deployment. Weapons and material handling is improved by advanced weapons elevators, which allow for faster movement of munitions from one location to another. Furthermore, Ford-class aircraft carriers use cutting-edge technology to launch and recover land aircraft. On CVN-78, older steam-powered equipment has been replaced with electric driving systems. The ship is easily modernizable in the future with cutting-edge technologies, as it has a 50-year service life and 3 times the electrical generation capacity of any preceding carrier. Ford, unlike the majority of the other service ships, will not be part of the USN's Global Force Management deployment. On September 26, Vice Admiral Daniel Dwyer, commander of the U.S. Second Fleet and Joint Force Command, stated that the carrier will instead be sent on a retained service deployment. According to Vice Admiral Dwyer, the ship's first Global Force Management deployment will take place in 2023. Captain Paul Lanzalota, Ford's commanding officer, believes that the official name of the deployment is far less important than the location of the ship's operations. During a press conference on the pier in front of Ford in Norfolk, Virginia on September 29, Captain Lanzalota stated, "We're going to operate in different regions. We're going to use the entire Atlantic as our playpen." He declared that the Atlantic Ocean was strategically important. "We'll be able to conduct business on the high seas throughout the Atlantic Ocean. We're not just tethered to Norfolk." According to USN officials, command and control is critical in determining deployment type. How to find U.S. aircraft carriers and monitor them? The Naval Update Map displays the approximate current locations of the U.S. carrier strike groups and amphibious ready groups based on publicly available open-source data. This weekly update contains no classified or operationally sensitive information. CSGs and ARGs are the key to American dominance over the oceans. A CSG focuses on an aircraft carrier and has a strong offensive strike capability. So that's it for today's video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more updates. Thanks for watching.